Hi, everybody. This is Adam Elenbaas from Nightlight Astrology, and these are your Sun and Rising sign horoscopes for January of 2019. So this is the horoscope for Pisces in particular. We're going to take a look and see what's up for January here. Here's your chart. And it's all centering on the 11th house this month. The month begins with a Sun-Saturn conjunction in Capricorn in the 11th on January 5th. I'm not going to go through all of them because there's just so much going on in one place. I'm just going to kind of give you the overview. January 5th, there's a solar eclipse also in your 11th house in Capricorn. On January 8th, Mercury will enter Capricorn and pretty quickly will square Mars in Aries in your second house. You're going to have on the 10th and 11th, the Sun will conjoin Pluto in Capricorn. Then on the 12th into the 13th, Mercury will conjoin Saturn in Capricorn. So it's like that all month long. By the 21st of the month, Mars in Aries will square Saturn in Capricorn. So it's really an 11th house, second house dynamic for you right now in a big way. There's eclipses set to roll through Capricorn for the next year in your chart, at least. There's Saturn-Pluto conjunction entering your 11th house in not too long. So a lot of significant changes happening in the year ahead. Now, what does this mean practically? Like, what can you take away from this? Well, traditionally, the 11th house is called the joy of Jupiter and the house of good spirit. And it's related to our ambitions, our dreams, our goals in life, and the people that we need, or the allies, or the associates, the resources even of powerful people. So you have allies, groups, benefactors, colleagues, kind of people who have your back or who have similar dreams and visions. So there's definitely been a lot of emphasis on who you associate with and how the associations that you have in your life are either helping you or not en route to your goals, especially professionally with Jupiter, a great planet of expansion and growth in your career house for the whole year. So, or most of 2019 anyway. So the other thing though is that with Uranus is turning direct in Aries the first week of the month. Mars has just entered Aries in your second house. This is also about time, money, energy, and resources. So groups, colleagues, a lot of ambition. Not all of it's good, by the way. Sometimes the 11th house, for example, a lot of really, really ambitious people who are not like ambitious in a good way have a lot of planets in the 11th house. So the 11th house can sometimes be about opportunism, especially with Capricorn and Saturn and Pluto. What kind of groups or people or friends or colleagues are you making, and how much of this is based on a desire to succeed or get ahead or is rooted in some kind of selfish motivation? You want to be careful too that organizations that you belong to may also have selfish interests of their own, that they're seeking to use you and your abilities or talents in some way. And then when you have the second house, it's also, there's questions of money and time and resources and what you bring to the table or what you're getting and giving into groups and with friends and collaborations and things like that. A lot to think about right now because Saturn and Pluto can imply a lot of different things. The kind of Saturn-Pluto vibe that's present in your 11th house right now. For example, you're meeting powerful people, but they're not necessarily good people. Or you are being liked or admired by powerful people, but maybe not being fully seen or recognized for what you really are, or what your values really are. So alignment of values within groups, organizations, among friends. Your friendships may also be changing. Quite frankly, you may find that the people in your life that you want to spend time with is getting more focused, and you're having to eliminate people or groups or social circles that really aren't meeting you any longer. They're sort of not meeting you where you're at. You can think about the Uranus and Mars energy in the second house also as a shift, the desire to kind of break free and change direction when it comes to money or finances, or just your everyday values might be changing significantly. Sometimes Mars in the second house, some financial expenditures, financial issues kind of coming up. But there's also maybe some theme of wanting to start a project, start a business, collaborating with others to start some kind of financial endeavor. That's a second house, 11th house kind of experience right now as well. Okay, so that gives you some things to contemplate and hopefully enough sort of symbolic details to work with. And a lot of the times the way that these horoscopes work is you're going to try to put you in the ballpark of where the energy is focused, and then you can kind of register it and go like, oh yeah, I see that's going on right here in my life or right there or whatever. So, okay, now the next transit, which is almost equally as big and important, it's all year long, but it's perfecting this month, is Jupiter square to Neptune. Jupiter's, of course, in your career house, entered in November of 2018. Now it's 2019. Jupiter's going to be there for the year, bringing expansion, growth, bigness into the career. It's a year for you to succeed professionally, to be noticed by more people. However, with a square to Neptune in your first house, you have to ask the question, am I being seen, recognized, appreciated for who I am, or for what people think that I am? So, and also, who am I, and how do I want to show up in my professional life? So questions about identity, kind of existential, and professional direction, especially around success. There's a lot of emphasis on growth, expansion, success, notoriety this year for you. But again, with so much Saturn, Pluto in the 11th, at what cost, right? And that's, I think, part of what's being evaluated. This transit from Jupiter Neptune is very inspiring. It's very uplifting, but you really need to think through it. Make sure you're feeling very grounded, understanding your motivations. Really important right now. Otherwise, I think that this transit provides inspiration and growth and a kind of visionary quality, like feeling like you're coming to the start of a new mission in life. So, all right, on January 21st, there is a lunar eclipse in Leo in your sixth house. This is the last of a long series of eclipses in the sixth. Sixth is difficult: conflict, arduous work and labor, fighting for things you believe in, as a aura sometimes of like just kind of grueling, difficult stuff that you're going through. That's sixth house was called the joy of Mars, traditionally in the house of bad fortune. It's just the stuff in life that it tends to make us tougher and stronger, but it's adversity that we deal with in the sixth house. Eclipses there generally mean that you're going through some passages that frankly are very difficult, or you're just kind of dealing with chronic things or things that won't really resolve or whatever. Good news is the last eclipse there, so you're about ready to turn a chapter and get through some of those heavier spaces. And then finally, on the 22nd, you'll have Venus-Jupiter conjunction in your 10th house of career. That's a very auspicious transit in your career house. Good things happening there. Again, you got to be a little bit careful of extravagance, indulgence. Important people may be entering your life, or maybe sort of featured, or you may be succeeding in some unique way. But just remember who you are. Just don't lose track of who you really are. Make sure you're checking in and not getting lost in the glamour of some of these Neptune, Venus, Jupiter dynamics, because they're flashy. So, okay, that's what I've got for you this month, Pisces. I hope that you'll share some of your stories with me on the feed. I'd love to hear from you guys, and I will look forward to catching up with you guys again next month for February's forecast. Okay, take care. Bye.